And the Gacy case too. I wrote the book, but there's still more there, Jeff. There's still more. I mean, the city of Chicago, they didn't want more bodies. I mean, once they dug up that first body under the house, no, they didn't know what they were going to find. They were looking for Peace, for Robert Peace Boy. They had no idea they were going to be the cemetery of graves there. Nobody knew. I had dinner at Gacy's house, for Christ's sake. My wife came home one day, and it started with this. She came home from her job with this insurance company and said, "Oh, this guy, John Wayne Gacy, invited us to have dinner at his house with his wife and kids." So, didn't know the guy. I don't think my wife ever mentioned his name before. All right. So we went to the house, my wife, me, my one son, who was only about 3 at the time, and she was pregnant with my second son. And we spent probably 4 or 5 hours in that house with John Gacy, his second wife, Carol, and the 2 kids. And maybe either his mother or her mother might have been in the house at that time too. And I remember a house, I've been in many hundreds of houses, but there were certain things about that house, and I was only in it once, that I had vivid recall of. It's kind of funny. I still remember. The pool table, the bar, that kind of stuff was easy. But I remember a painting on a wall. It was the type of painting, at the time it was popular, where it was like felt, but it had actually electrical lighting in it.
Interesting.
Like the street lights would light up, or a house lights would light up.
Oh, yeah.
And I remember this being on the living room wall, and I remember another one like a Spanish conquistador with a helmet and maybe a sword or something. I remember that. But I spent 4 or 5 hours there with the guy. And when you meet people for the first time, of course, you share an interest in each other. You ask questions. And he asked me, he knew I was a policeman because of my wife, and I had already been in the newspaper for some stuff that happened I did. And so he knew I